Welcome to the Word on Wednesday. Today I want to look at the question, who is my neighbor? In Luke's Gospel, we read about an expert of the law who came to Jesus and asked, "What must I do to inherit eternal life?" Jesus asked him, "Well, how do you read it?" His answer was, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength and with all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself." Jesus told him he had answered correctly. But the lawyer wasn't done asking questions. He asked Jesus, "And who is my neighbor?" In answer to his question, Jesus told an explanatory parable. A man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho when he was attacked by robbers. They stripped him of his clothes, beat him, and went away, leaving him half dead. A priest happened to be going down the same road, and when he saw the man, he passed by on the other side. So too, a Levite, when he came to the place and saw him, passed by on the other side. But a Samaritan, as he traveled, came to where the man was, and when he saw him, he took pity on him. He went to him and bandaged his wounds, pouring on oil and wine, and then he put the man on his own donkey, brought him to an inn, and took care of him. The next day, he took 2 denarii and gave them to the innkeeper to look after him. He said, "And when I return, I will reimburse you for any extra expense you may have." Which of these 3 do you think was a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of the robbers? The expert in the law replied, "The one who had mercy on him." Jesus told him, "Go and do likewise." This lawyer came to Jesus with the question, "What must I do to inherit eternal life?" And he followed it up with another question, "Who is my neighbor?" The answer Jesus gave is deeply thought-provoking, and we would be wise to listen to what Jesus says. Jesus answers his question with the famous story of the Good Samaritan. The story is familiar, but please do not miss the profound meaning of the text. The question, "Who is my neighbor?" is revealing the lawyer's question and is really an attempt to say there is such a thing as a non-neighbor. The Samaritans were not good as far as the Jews of Jesus' day were concerned. They were a despised people. Nobody liked them. Everybody tried to avoid them. But Jesus chooses to use the Samaritan as his example of who our neighbor is. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said in the final sermon of his life, the day before he was assassinated, he talked about the dangers of the Jericho Road. He said it's a winding, meandering road. It's conducive to ambushing. In the day of Jesus, it came to be known as the Bloody Pass. And it's possible that the priest and the Levite looked over the man on the ground and wondered if the robbers were still around. Or it's possible that they felt that the man on the ground was merely faking, and he was acting like he had been robbed and hurt in order to seize them over there, lure them there for quick and easy seizure. And so the first question the Levite asked was, "If I stop to help this man, what will happen to me?" But the Good Samaritan came by and he reversed the question. He said, "If I do not stop and help this man, what will happen to me?" The greatest example of a neighbor is a Samaritan. The shunned and loathed Samaritan establishes what a good neighbor is. Someone who crosses boundaries to help someone else in need, jeopardizes his own safety and security, takes time out from his routine and schedule, is willing to alter his journey, gives of his time and resources, enlists others in his plan to help, and then he circles back to make sure that the injured man doesn't need anything else, all across stiff racial and cultural lines. Now, that is a neighbor, Jesus says. Imagine the young lawyer's face when the lights came on as Jesus answered his question about who a neighbor was. The lawyer wanted Jesus to narrow the field as to who his neighbor was. But instead, Jesus does just the opposite. Darrell Bock said, "If we seek to restrict those we serve, we need to hear the lesson Jesus taught the lawyer. The issue is not who we may or may not serve, but serving where need exists. We are not to seek to limit who our neighbors might be, Rather, we are to be a neighbor to those whose needs we can meet. Jesus doesn't want us to define who a neighbor is, but to love and extend mercy and compassion to those in need. Being a neighbor does not make distinctions in offering care. Compassion may involve time and sacrifice and looks to do more than just the bare minimum. Our obligation to be a neighbor is not to a select few, but everyone. Compassion, response, and love make a neighbor, not locale or race. So now it's Jesus' turn to ask the question, which of these three do you think was a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of robbers? The expert in the law replied, the one who had mercy on him. Jesus' question and the subsequent answer reveal who and what a neighbor is. We become a neighbor by responding to the needs of others. That is the message of the Good Samaritan.